June 30th, 1908, 7:17 a.m. In the remote wilderness of the Tunguska River in Siberia, the sky didn't just open, it shattered. Imagine you're a simple Siberian peasant, maybe 40 miles from the epicenter. You're sitting on your porch when suddenly you're blinded by a terrifying white light, a flash so intense you're thrown from your chair, by a wave of heat, convinced your own clothes are about to catch fire. You believe the sky has literally split open, that the world is ending. Then comes the blast, a shockwave so powerful it circled the entire Earth twice. It leveled 80 million trees across more than 800 square miles in a single, deafening instant. For days afterward, the night skies over Europe and Asia were so bright you could read a newspaper at midnight. But when investigators finally reached the site, they found a mystery that would defy science for over a century. There was no crater. There were no fragments of a meteorite. There was nothing but a silent, scorched graveyard of trees. For Soviet mineralogist Leonid Kulik, this became an obsession. He was a rugged, stubborn scientist who spent years trying to reach the epicenter, convinced he would find a massive iron meteorite, a true hammer of God that had fallen from the heavens. He envisioned a colossal crater, a clear impact site. But what he found was far stranger. He was knee-deep in a frozen swamp, surrounded by thousands of trees that looked like telephone poles. They stood eerily upright, but were stripped bare of every single branch and leaf, charred by a ferocious thermal blast that had come straight down from above. Trees further out were flattened in a perfect radial pattern, all pointing away from a center that contained nothing. No iron, no stone, not even tiny bits of debris. It was a forest haunted by the ghost of an explosion. Science eventually settled on a term for it, an airburst. The theory was that a meteor or comet had exploded miles above the ground, never actually hitting the surface. But even an air burst of that magnitude should leave behind chemical fingerprints, a dusting of exotic materials in the soil. Tunguska left only whispers. It left a stubborn scientist staring at a horizon that should have had a crater but didn't, haunted by the profound silence of the forest. As the decades passed and our understanding of the cosmos grew, the simple meteor theory began to fail. It just didn't add up. Then, in 1973, two physicists at the University of Texas proposed something far more radical, something straight out of science fiction. What if Tunguska wasn't a rock at all? What if it was a primordial black hole, a microscopic speck of infinite density, forged in the Big Bang, zipping through the cosmos? They theorized it passed clean through the Earth like a needle through silk, its gravitational and thermal wake creating the explosion in the atmosphere. No impact, no crater, no debris, just an entry and an exit wound on the planet itself. But perhaps the most chilling theory of all emerged in the 21st century. As our technology evolved, so did our nightmares. What if it wasn't a black hole? What if it was antimatter? A single gram of antimatter, colliding with the regular matter of our atmosphere, wouldn't just explode. It would create an event of total annihilation, releasing pure energy with 100% efficiency. This would perfectly explain the 15 megaton blast, 1,000 times more powerful than Hiroshima, the blinding light, and the complete and total lack of any physical residue. It wasn't a collision, it was an erasure. Fast forward to 2026. A modern physicist, analytical and cold, works in a high-tech lab filled with glowing holographic simulations. She isn't looking for a rock, she's looking for cosmic glitches. New analysis of the ancient peat bogs and tree rings from the Tunguska region reveals something impossible: rare isotopes and strange glassy microspherules that just shouldn't exist in our solar system. The data suggests that the Tunguska object wasn't a stray rock from our cosmic backyard. It was a piece of the other. Maybe it was a fragment from a mirror universe, or a stray particle of antimatter left over from the birth of the cosmos. It was a cosmic anomaly that proved our atmosphere is the only fragile shield standing between us and total molecular erasure. We aren't living in a safe, predictable neighborhood. We are living in a shooting gallery, and the bullets are invisible ghosts traveling at impossible speeds. The physicist sees the data not as a historical mystery, but as a terrifying validation of a universal truth. The cosmos is not empty, it's haunted. If the Tunguska event happened today over London, New York, or Tokyo, the city would simply cease to exist in a fraction of a second. There would be no warning, no incoming missile alert, no time to even look up. Just a flash of brilliant blue light and a circle of ash where millions of people once lived. We track the asteroids and comets we can see, the big rocks that pose a threat. But how do you track a shadow? How do you prepare for an enemy made of antimatter? A microscopic black hole, or something our physics doesn't even have a name for yet. The forest of Tunguska has regrown over the last century. Nature has reclaimed the scarred land. But even today, the trees still lean away from the ghost of an explosion that, according to the physical evidence, officially never happened. We are left with a profound and unsettling question. The sky shattered once. Will it shatter again? Thank you for joining us in the Deep End. If you find these cosmic mysteries as fascinating as we do, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We've got a lot more to explore.